Fourscore and 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty, and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now,
yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
And welcome to another edition of the Historian's Almanac. I'm your host, Dr. William Lester. On this edition of the program, The Historical Dracula, Part 2. For 6 years, Vlad Dracul attempted to follow a middle ground between his two powerful neighbors. The Prince of Wallachia was officially a vassal of the King of Hungary, and Vlad was still a member of the Order of the Dragon and sworn to fight the infidel. At the same time, the power of the Ottomans seemed unstoppable. Vlad was forced to pay tribute to the Sultan, just as his father, Mircea the Old, had been forced to do. In 1442, Vlad attempted to remain neutral when the Turks invaded Transylvania. The Turks were defeated, and the vengeful Hungarians under John Hunyadi, the White Knight of Hungary, forced Vlad Dracul and his family to flee Wallachia. In 1443, Vlad regained the Wallachian throne with Turkish support, but on the condition that Vlad send a yearly contingent of Wallachian boys to join the Sultan's Janissaries. In 1444, to further assure the Sultan of his good faith, Vlad sent his two younger sons, Vlad III and Radu the Handsome, to Adrianople as hostages. Vlad III remained a hostage in Adrianople until 1448. In 1444, Hungary broke the peace and launched the Varna campaign led by John Hunyadi in an effort to drive the Turks out of Europe. Hunyadi demanded that Vlad Dracul fulfill his oath as a member of the Order of the Dragon and a vassal of Hungary, and join the crusade against the Turks. Yet the wily politician still attempted to steer a middle course. Rather than join the Christian forces himself, he sent his oldest son, Mircea. Perhaps he hoped the Sultan would spare his younger sons if he himself did not join the crusade. The results of the Varna crusade are well known. The Christian army was utterly destroyed in the Battle of Varna. John Hunyadi managed to escape the battle under inglorious conditions. From this moment forth, John Hunyadi was bitterly hostile towards Vlad Dracul and his eldest son. In 1447, Vlad Dracula was assassinated along with his son Mircea. Mircea was apparently buried alive by the boyars and merchants of Târgovist. Vlad III later exacted revenge upon these boyars and merchants. Hunyadi placed his own candidate, a member of the Dynasty clan, on the throne of Wallachia. On receiving news of Vlad Dracula's death, the Turks released Vlad III and supported him as their own candidate for the Wallachian throne. In 1448, at the age of 17, Vlad III managed to briefly seize the Wallachian throne. Yet within 2 months, Hunyadi forced him to surrender the throne and flee to his cousin, the Prince of Moldavia. Vlad III's successor to the throne, however, Vladislav II, unexpectedly instituted a pro-Turkish policy which Hunyadi found to be unacceptable. He then turned to Vlad III, the son of his old enemy, as a more reliable candidate for the throne, and forged an allegiance with him to retake the throne by force. Vlad III received the Transylvanian duchies formerly governed by his father and remained there under the protection of the Hunyadi, waiting for the opportunity to retake Wallachia from his rival. In 1453, however, the Christian world was shocked by the final fall of Constantinople to the Ottomans. Hunyadi thus broadened the scope of his campaign against the insurgent Turks. In 1456, Hunyadi invaded Turkish Serbia, while Vlad III simultaneously invaded Wallachia. In the Battle of Belgrade, Hunyadi was killed and his army defeated. Meanwhile, Vlad III succeeded in killing Vladislav II and taking the Wallachian throne. Vlad III then began his main reign of Wallachia, which stretched from 1456 until 1462. It was during this period that he instituted his strict policies, stood up against the Turks, and began his reign of terror by impalement. Vlad III was born in November or December of 1431 in the Transylvania city of Sighisoara. At the time, his father, Vlad II, was living in exile in Transylvania. The house where he was born is still standing. It is located in a prosperous neighborhood surrounded by the homes of Saxon and Magyar merchants and the townhouses of the nobility. Little is known about the early years of Vlad III's life. He had an older brother, Mircea, and a younger brother, Radu the Handsome. His early education was left in the hands of his mother, a Transylvanian noblewoman, and her family. His real education began in 1436 after his father succeeded in claiming the Wallachian throne by killing his dynasty rival. His training was typical to that of the sons of nobility throughout Europe. His first tutor in his apprenticeship to knighthood was an elderly boyar who had fought against the Turks at the Battle of Nicolopoulos. And that concludes another episode of the Historian's Almanac. Thank you for listening to the program. I'd like to invite you to listen to my other program, Agenda Earth, along with co-host Mark Zaski. Agenda Earth can be heard on the cryptoreality.us website, the American Institute of Metaphysics Facebook page, and the Agenda Earth Facebook page. The Historian's Almanac can be heard on the Blackwater Media YouTube channel, the Agenda Earth Facebook page, the American Institute of Metaphysics Facebook page, Google+, and the Historian's Almanac Facebook page. I'm Dr. William Lester reminding you that history comes alive on the Historian's Almanac.